At the beginning of the video, we see the main character in shock, looking at something with background narration starting. There are moments in life when you have to make decisions, and such decisions are often filled with ruthlessness. In front of him stands a massive monster-like creature, and behind it, a girl. Don't even think about your situation. You might feel it's unfair, but we can't do anything about it. The monster, enraged, charges to attack both of them. Suddenly, the girl steps in between. This is how this world works. The scene shifts to a hospital payment reception. The main character is yelling at the receptionist, "What? This isn't covered by health insurance?" The receptionist, in a calm voice, says, "Yes, the neural regeneration injection needed for your sister's treatment is an out-of-pocket item. It's not covered by insurance. If you don't have private medical insurance, it's going to be quite expensive." The main character listens, helplessness in his eyes. The receptionist continues, "This is a new medicine, so it's very expensive. Here's the price." The main character looks and is shocked. 5,000,000 won. In a doctor's room, the doctor calmly says, "Money doesn't always buy happiness, but if your sister doesn't get 2 spinal injections every month, she could face serious lower body paralysis." In the hospital room, standing by his sister, the main character thinks, "When you need money and don't have it, the fear is something else entirely. Today, my little sister's life has been given a price tag." His sister asks, "Aretha, hospital bills very expensive?" In his mind, he wonders, should he tell her the truth? Then, sweating with a forced smile, he says, "I got a job, so it's fine. A professor gave me a referral and I got the job, don't worry." But in his mind, he's screaming, "I can't even lie properly." His sister, stretching lightly, says, "I guess track and field is out of the question now." The main character confidently replies, "I'll get you back on the track." She smiles, "Okay, Baya, I'll study hard." He says, "Absolutely. You were always the best in studies and in races too. Even without our parents, I can at least manage your medicines." The main character goes to a bank for a loan but is told, "I'm sorry, without a secondary financial institution, getting a new loan will be difficult. Plus, you already have student loans." Hess storms out of the bank in anger, throwing his passbook to the ground. A black cat approaches the passbook. In that moment, the main character stands there, his mind consumed by one thought. Money, money, money. I need money. I absolutely need it. My credit score is already ruined. He clutches his head and screams, "There's no way out, I need it, I really do." In his mind, he thinks, "What do I do? There's no way out. If Jin can never walk again, now's not the time to cry. I can still do something. I'm not at the edge of the cliff yet." As he goes to pick up the passbook, the cat stops him. He brushes it aside, picks it up, and finds a black card inside. He thinks, "What is this?" The card reads, "Do you need high-paying daily work? Contact Afterlife Dispatch Employment Recruitment." Confused, he wonders, Afterlife Dispatch Employment? Sounds suspicious. Is this organ trafficking or some illegal job? He throws the card away thinking, "I'm not that desperate yet. Even drug dealers have some limits." But then He picks it up again. "Well, you shouldn't litter. Sometimes you have to take a chance." At home, phone notifications flash. Web notification, 510,001 withdrawn. Web notification, 4501 withdrawn. Web notification, 140,001 withdrawn. The main character, furious, thinks, interest and utilities are eating money like some hungry monster. Army. The narrator adds, "And with time, this burden only grows heavier." The main character thinks, "I don't have the luxury of being picky anymore." He picks up the card as a last resort and makes the call, thinking, it's suspicious, but calling should be safe, right? Maybe it's really a high-paying daily job, as long as they don't harvest my organs. The phone rings with a strange jingle. "Live kindly, good deeds are rewarded. Beautiful world, daily good deeds, daily good deeds." The main character, confused, says softly, "Hello?" and falls silent. Hearing a yes from the other side, he thinks, did they just say yes? A voice responds, You're calling, that's good. He says, yes, but the voice continues, wow, someone actually called. The main character, sweating and clutching the phone, hears, today's job is at Guangkok Municipal Hospital's funeral hall. Can you make it by 10:50? He replies, that's only 30 minutes from now. We haven't even properly introduced ourselves. The voice says, is that a problem? If not, I'll hang up. He checks the time and says, no problem. The voice adds, and yes, the dress code is a black suit. It's mandatory. He arrives at Guangkok Municipal Hospital, standing there thinking, I couldn't even ask what this job actually is. Well, if it comes to it, I can always run. The most important thing is paying Jin's hospital bills. A girl approaches and says, are you Lee Dojin? He looks at her and says, yes, I'm Lee Dojin, blushing slightly. We see an incredibly beautiful girl with long, shining white hair. She says, that's me. He thinks, when I first saw her, I felt two strange emotions. First, an inexplicable but deep sense of trust. At least this job doesn't seem illegal. She says, nice to meet you, Mr. Lee Dojin. He thinks, the second was an irrational fear, like drowning in the deep ocean, like thalassophobia. She comes very close to him. He thinks, by the way, you're too close. Their eyes meet, his face drenched in sweat. He says, why are you staring at me like that? Thinking, is this some new kind of pressure interview? Such a beautiful and almost inhuman appearance. After, staring for a moment, she says, good, follow me. He thinks, the atmosphere around her feels surreal. He asks, where are we going? What am I actually doing? She replies, we're going to funeral hall number 1 in this hospital. They walk, they see a rude man harassing a girl. The girl says, let go of my hand. The man replies, why are you being so harsh? I'm your dad's friend. I took time out to pay my respects to your father. Don't you remember how much I loved you when you were little? The girl jerks, her hand away. Get your filthy hands off. Seeing this, the white-haired girl says, Mr. Lee Dojin, get ready. He's confused. For what? The old man says, you shouldn't be so rude to your dad's friend. I even brought a condolence gift. The main character approaches, grabs the man's hand and says, please give your condolence money and leave, or I'll report you. This person doesn't need you, sir. The old man, furious, says, what is this rudeness? The main character says, I'm Lee Dojin, an employee of the funeral service company. The old man, shocked, says, funeral service? Angrily, he adds, how dare a funeral employee like you touch me? Do you know who I am? The white-haired girl says, I'm not a funeral employee, and this isn't a funeral service company, but tonight you've met the person you wanted to meet. The main character thinks, this wasn't a funeral service? If it's not a service, why is she here? She continues, his name is Kim Hwang-sik, born in 1959 in Gyeonggi Province, the eldest of 3 sons and 2 daughters, now a city councilor. The old man starts sweating. She says, you've taken many innocent lives since last year. The last murder you ordered was just last night. The grieving girl, in shock, says, last night? The night of my dad's accident? The white-haired girl says, a hit-and-run murder, staged to look like an accident. A journalist's death, your old friend, who was investigating your corruption and murder solicitations. The old man says, oh, so a rookie prosecutor and an investigator are here? Do you know how many senior prosecutors' numbers are in this phone? The white-haired girl says, your karmic debt is now complete. In your 60 years, you've only caused pain to others. This is your last chance to repent. The old man, furious, says, have you gone mad? Repent, my foot. He makes a call. Secretary Park, schedule golf with the commissioner this weekend. The white-haired girl says, our job starts now. The main character, startled, says, what, we have to stop him? Suddenly the old man collapses. The main character says, hey, get a grip. The girl says, we're not here to stop that man. Darkness envelops everything. The main character says, it's coming, tearing through space. We see the monster slowly advancing. There are things in life that are ruthless, that don't care about your situation. You might think it's unfair, but we can't do anything. That's just how the world is.